I'm going to show you how you can generate an iCal calendar URL for Airtable records. I'll be using this tool by miniextensions.com. So the idea here is we've got a bunch of records in this table, and each record we want to be an event on a calendar, because each record has an end date and a start date, and a name and a couple of things like that. And as you can see, we can already see it as a calendar here, but what we want to do is we want to add it as a calendar in our calendar client, like for example on the Apple Calendar client. So what I'll do here is I'll copy this URL and I will go to my calendar and I will hit on file and then I'll do new calendar subscription. And in here I will post that URL and I will start that subscription. And we can name it whatever we want. Let's say demo. And let's see. So as you can see, those records immediately pop in, and I wanted to demonstrate something. This URL is 100% live. Although not every calendar will be completely live, what you'll notice here is if I change one of these elements, one of these events, they will immediately show up when I refresh. So let's take, for example, this 418. If I turn this to a 419, and let's wait for it to kick in here, and then go back here, and I refresh, you'll see that immediately it turns into 419. So the URL that we're giving to this calendar is always up to date. It's a question of whether or not the calendar will keep syncing. But if you're using a calendar that has a manual sync like the Apple Calendar does, then you'll be able to always keep it up to date. Now I'm going to show you how you would set this up. Start by filling up your user API key and then choose the base that you'd like to set this up for and then the table. And if you'd like to limit this to only a subset of your records, you can select an Airtable view so that we apply that same filter you have applied in Airtable. Next, you'll choose the event start date. This has to be a date in Airtable. And then next is the event end date, also has to be a date. And then the event summary, in my case, is going to be the name, then the description of the event, in my case, description. And these are all just fields in Airtable. I can show you here what they look like, but they're just mostly simple fields. And next we'll do location. In my case, location is a room, for example. So we'll see that once we add it to the calendar. And then we'll add a URL field, and then an organizer, and then an organizer email. So I'll go ahead and save here. And then this share URL is actually the URL that I can start the subscription with. So I'll copy this here, and I'll go to the calendar, and I'll do new calendar subscription, and I'll subscribe. This is a different calendar than the one I tested earlier, by the way. So we'll see a different set of record. There you go. So if I grab one of these and I open it, you'll see that the URL is shown, the description is shown, that room is shown, the title is shown, etc. Everything we added there will be available here. And like I said, if I change any value whatsoever, it'll be immediately live.